Another passenger shouted from the back, "We'll have an extra seat if you remove her." It was about to get worse. As her arrogance grew, Jessica watched. "This is my personal space," shouted the young woman. Another passenger replied, "No, it's not." Policeman's patience was running out. After work, Jessica Hoot came home. At rush hour, she raced to catch the train. She was used to the street noise in New York City. Long commutes and overcrowded trains. She thought these trains had seen everything. Jessica boarded her train exhausted. She expected overcrowding, but she hoped to find a seat to rest for her hour-and-a-half journey. She pushed past aisle standers to find a seat. After searching the carriages, she found one. Last carriage. A young woman sat alone. She wondered why no one was sitting. Besides a bag on the seat, it was fine. She approached the young woman and requested the seat. She was unaware. She ignored her, staring at her phone with earphones in. She pretended not to see Jessica. After stopping again, security entered the carriage. The train tension hit Jessica then. She saw angry looks at the young woman. Jessica suddenly realized she wasn't the first to request this seat and be turned down. It was immediately obvious that these officers were here to see her. If you like my videos, don't forget to like or subscribe. Thanks in advance. Jessica watched from afar. The officer passed her and headed for the girl. She was reported. Her act? He signaled her. "Don't touch my stuff," she snapped as she removed her earphones and looked up from her cap. "Can we have somebody sitting there?" asked the officer. "No," she said. "More seats." The passengers' uproar showed the crowd's annoyance. "There's standing room only," they shouted. Jessica thought she was denying everyone this seat. Many stood. Officer continued. He became harsher. "Take off that bag, or I'll take you off the train right now," he said. Jessica felt crowd rage. She must have acted entitled for a while. Another passenger shouted from the back, "If you remove her, we'll have one more seat." This worsened things. "This is my personal space," the young woman shouted. "No," said another passenger. The officer became impatient. She added, "I don't care if I'm £90, £50, or £300. My space." Jessica realized why everyone hated her. The officer boiled over. "Enough. Get her off the train." "Get her off the train," he shouted, waving his men to help. The girl was shocked. She was unfazed by orders. "You want privacy?" he said. "You'll have it outside," and the passengers applauded. The woman reluctantly sat until the other officers approached. She took her bags and rolled her eyes. Jessica had never seen her leave with the officers. Jessica wondered how someone could feel entitled to make others stand for her. A fellow passenger posted the video online, and viewers were as frustrated with the young woman as the train passengers. Typical entitled person. Selfish, one user wrote. "When a bunch of strangers ask you to leave, you should know something is wrong," said another. After the young woman left and the officer gave the train the go-ahead, another passenger gestured for Jessica to sit. Jessica was deeply touched by this stranger's kindness. He instantly restored her faith in humanity. Jessica has never seen such selfishness on the train since that day, but she still searches for an empty seat after work. The same city saw a similar but distinct event. 3 unwitting people shoved for a seat. They didn't know their mistake. Charlie spent his adult life in New York. He came to NYC for work from Alaska. He tried his hardest to get a great job in his field, but life wasn't easy. It culminated in that terrible train morning. Charlie guarded a luxury hotel in New York. After months of job searches and rejections, he found something to keep him warm and fed at night. He searched for jobs, interviewed, and worked nights, so the security job was perfect for him. Charlie lived simply. He took the 6 a.m. train home to freshen up before job hunting in the city. He napped at home in the afternoon before repeating it at 7 p.m. He stuck to a strict routine. Things changed that morning. Charlie's life changed that week. A city event brought customers to the hotel. Many international participants attended. Charlie worked overtime because the hotel was busy. His decision had unintended consequences. Charlie's pre-event night was slow. He had worked 3 similar nights, sleeping for hours each time. This was his final one, and he was excited to clear it so he could rush home. But something else excited him. Charlie was interviewed for one of his many job applications. It was among his dream jobs with a company he'd always wanted to work for. The excitement that washed over him was unlike anything he'd ever felt. Even though the night shift was stressful, he was giddy all week. He eagerly awaited that interview. Charlie interviewed on Friday. After a grueling week, he was relieved to face the interviews. He finished his shift and organized. After a quick goodbye, he left the premises at 6 a.m., hoping to make the train before 7. His morning would change. The subway's bloat was Charlie's first impression. People walked to work, school, travel, and home, like Charlie. He ran over with his MetroCard to finish this part of his day. However, entering the train spoiled everything. Charlie ran in after paying the train. He found no empty seat to rest. He wanted to take a nap on the train before getting home because he had slept so much this week. He looked for a place to crash. Nothing. He sighingly inhaled. What followed surprised him. Charlie's neighbor stood up. His clothes and beard were filthy. Charlie ignored him. He focused on the man's seat as he left the train. Unbeknownst to Charlie, other boarders wanted the seat. Charlie approached the man's seat. Seeing it then. 2 businesswomen raced for the same spot. After standing and walking all night, Charlie's legs were numb. His tired limbs prevented him from being chivalrous. He abruptly ended. The 2 women closer to the seat beat him to it. He smiled, nodded, and walked back. The 2 ladies fought the rest. Charlie was uninterested. The women's actions stunned him. The 2 women sat down smiling, unlike some angry locals who elbowed each other for the seat. They fit easily because they were small. They said, "Hi," with their lips curled. They were unaware of their grave error. The train carried everyone to their destination with a rumble. One woman stopped quickly. As she stood, the one she left behind saw something that made her shriek. The commotion made the other turn around. She stumbled after seeing it. She was blind. How? Human waste covered her expensive office suit. The previous occupant left an unpleasant gift. The other woman noticed her suit was painted the same and jumped up. Charlie smiled as the women screamed. This city surprised many. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again in the next video.